Okay, we are back. Now, we are going to put the enchiladas together, okay? And I've got two more cans left. So I'm going to use those up before I make and start using my homemade enchilada sauce. So we're using this can of enchilada sauce, which is from our local grocery store. I think this was at Kroger we bought this at. It's called Las Palmas enchilada sauce, and it comes in mild, medium, and hot. And I always make sure I do them all because I can't handle spice. Okay? So let's move that over here out of the way. And all you're doing is put it in a pot. And as you can see, it's the same pot that hubby cooked the ground beef in. And just let it simmer. I let it simmer until it gets to a, I do it on medium-low. Okay? Not medium-low, but more like a medium, but the lower part of medium. And then I let it simmer. I went ahead and turned off my tomatoes. I haven't pureed them yet. That's got to come because it's good dinner time and I gotta get it in the oven. So all I'm gonna do now I personally, this is just me, I like to spray pan my containers just so none of the sauce and none of this stuff cooks, because this is gonna bake bake at 425, and I like to do it for 30 to 45 minutes. Just to make sure it all gets nice and toasty. So I'm going to add, I already got my corn tortillas, and I like my bottom layer to be really saucy. So I kind of like my tortillas to kind of fall apart. So I put extra sauce in mine. But you don't have to. This is where the part where you get to do the best that's for you and your family. Which is another good thing about cooking from scratch from home. And no, this is not totally from scratch because this is sauce out of a can. But it's close enough. At least in my mind I'm saying that. So I'm going to do one layer. I'm going to do the same thing on this one, but I'll do that off camera. And I call this lazy man enchiladas because instead of putting it in there, soaking the tortilla in the sauce and then rolling it, because me that's so messy, I can't handle that. It's just, no, I don't do that. And you know what? It looks pretty and it tastes good. So then I'm going to sprinkle, and this is where again, depending on how much you have, you can go sparingly or you can go a lot. And I want to make sure that I have enough to go to my 2 pans, because this is going to be enough for dinner and lunch. That one's going to be enough for today for our dinner tonight. Okay. My first layer is spray the pan, put your tortillas on top, or if you want to, spray your pan, then put some sauce on top, and then layer your tortilla, put a little bit more sauce on top of the tortilla, then add a layer of ground beef. Next thing we're going to add is our cheese. We don't have enough cheddar cheese, and I don't want to mix it up. So I'm going to add this. This is actually pepper jack cheese. I can handle this cheese, so that's going to be enough kick for hubby, and that'll be enough kick for me that I can handle it. Because this first layer is just going to be this pepper jack cheese. And I like to put a lot of cheese in my first layer, but that's just me. Again, this is where you get to control how much you're putting in here. And I like to put it all over. That's why it's good to spray your container, your dish, your casserole dish, whatever it is that you're using. Because this cheese will get hard as it cooks and bakes. Okay. Where's my hand? Because I'm going to use a different type of cheese next. Oh, I don't have a clean towel. Let me just use this one that's going to get this one dirty. Oh well, that's the way it goes. Now I'm going to put another layer, just a little small layer of sauce on top. And as you can see, I'm just kind of drizzling it on there. And you can see this is not a great big, like here's my hand, so it's not a great big spoon. It's not a ladle, it's just such a deeper spoon. And I'm just putting just a little bit. Now I'm going to get another corn tortilla. And this is where you do the layering. So you layer and you make as many layers as your dish or as you want to make. It's totally up to you. Okay? Now I'm going to add some more ground beef. And what's good when you're doing something like this, especially if you have the room in your freezer and you have your budget allows you to do extra, double up and make 2 meals at the same time because you're getting the same amount of dishes dirty. Other than the one extra container that you're baking the extra in. Other than that, everything else is the same amount of dishes. And so it's the same amount of cooking time. Cheese. This time I'm doing regular Parmesan cheese. We have mozzarella and all that, but all those are gone, so I'm using what I have. And this is the cheese that we shredded ourselves in our KitchenAid mixer. And I don't put a whole bunch of cheese on this next 2 layers because I don't want to do an overkill of cheese. And then just a little bit of sauce dribbled in between each layer. Usually it's 2 scoops that I usually do. Okay, and then another layer of tortillas. And this will probably be the last batch for this one because you got to remember this is going to boil in the oven, so it's going to expand. I put mine underneath a cookie sheet because I don't like a mess in my oven, but you don't necessarily have to, but I do. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. Let me grab it. And then that's how I'm going to put it in the oven, and that's how it'll come out. So now another layer of ground beef. And this is the perfect time when you definitely want to use and crumble your ground beef as much as possible, because you don't want a whole bunch big old chunks of ground beef. And what's nice also is you can ask hubby to help you while you're doing all this part. Have him do the cooking, like cook the sauce or cook the ground beef, strain it, drain it, and get it ready for you. That way you both contribute it to the cooking and the baking, and then y'all can fight over who gets to do the dishes. We don't fight, we just have a little disagreement. And 9 times out of 10, he's the one that does the dishes. But sometimes I do. Usually I do. On weekends when I have time, when I'm not on a weekday, when I'm at work, a work day, I clean as I go. And as you can see from right behind me, I know y'all can see that because I can see it. There's my dishes that I've already gotten dirty so far today. And my sink, other than my... I had 1 container left of leftover enchilada sauce from my last batch, so I put it in one of my little Rubbermaid containers. And look, I'll show you. Enchilada sauce, I stuck it in my freezer, June 2022. So it needed to get cooked. So, and I just stuck it in the same pan and it heated up at the same time. Oh, let me get my cheese. So if I do have any leftover enchilada sauce, I'm just going to freeze it again. And I've done this many, many times, but 9 times out of 10, most of the time when I do double batches like this, it gets all used up. There's no leftovers. But sometimes they are. And what's nice, if you do have leftovers, remember, you can freeze, put it in a Ziploc bag, a freezer baggie, and freeze your cooked ground beef. Label the baggie. Do yourself a huge favor and label your baggie. Okay? And label and date it. And then you've got cooked ground beef for another quick meal that you're needing ground beef for. Okay. Oh, now I need my sauce. Again, oh, I just spilt. And I'm going to have to clean that up because I don't want to bake that in the oven because that's going to leave a big mess for me. I know, because believe me, Ask me how I know. And I'm going to do this right now. While I'm still here and I see this before it goes in the oven. I spilt my sauce. So I'm going to wipe this up. Because this is going to do nothing but bake on my cookie sheet. And it's going to be so hard to clean up afterwards. And by the time I'm done, I'm putting both of these then in here. Oops, I already did that. Okay, now my last layer. Oh, my timer's on. My oven is ready. Let me move this closer because I don't want to spill again. Now I'm just going to smooth this 1 spoon of sauce over. I want to make sure it's all coated. There we go. Sprinkle my cheese on top. And I personally, this is just me, you do how you want to do it. I cook my enchiladas uncovered. I don't put foil on top. I bake them just like this. But if you wanted to, of course you can. And then, again, the other one's going to be for a freezer meal for one day next week or the week after. Just depends on what we feel like eating. But it's nice to know that there's a meal ready for us. And then I always like to have a little bit of extra sauce to make sure that it goes in the grooves, so all that goodness goes in there. And I always make sure that I have at least a 1/4 inch headspace for boil over, because it will boil over if you put it too far up to the top of your dish. But at least this way it soaks in. And as you can see, I'm doing a little bit at a time. Oh no, you can't see me. I'm sorry, you can't see me. I just not noticed that. See, I'm putting it right in here on the inside, so it's going to dribble down. And I'm just doing a little. This is one. Another time you have to use your patience. And you're getting extra sauce everywhere. And I am trying not to make sure I don't go too far over it. I'm sweating, sweating, sweating. I get hot when I'm in here. Okay, so for me, I like to make sure that my plenty of sauce is in here. And then I'm going to get one last scoop, put it down the center to cover that cheese sauce. Put this back in the center of my cookie sheet. And this one's ready to roll. So let's put this over here, because I don't want to put them both in until they're both already. I put my towel over my sauce. Made a big mess. I didn't realize when I put my towel over here, it went into my bowl. So that towel was dirty anyway, but that wasn't the point. I just made myself work. Okay, so we're going to do this one again. Exact same steps that I did before, but I'm not going to record that because we're just repeating the same steps we just here. So I'm going to bring you back when we come out and do the taste test.